channel. Today we're going to do a movie review. So last week I watched this horror movie called Abigail, and if you know me, I'm obsessed with horror movies. That's like my first nerdy thing I got into when it came to like watching stuff, because my first nerdy thing was books, but I was really into horror movies. I still am, but like they've been doing like remakes galore, and I'm so tired of it. I'm really so tired of it. So when there's a new movie that comes out that has like their own spin on it, I have to be in the theater. I have to be watching it. And then nobody was in the theater. Ugh, I had a ball. But I wanted to do a little movie review. Let me just do a little check-in. See, hi, how are you doing? Put it in the comments. How are you feeling today? And then let's get into it. Abigail was really good. Really good to me. Like, if we get into, the first thing we can get into is the plot. And so I really like the plot, because when you look at the trailer, and for some reason this day and age, they put the trailer like the whole movie in the trailer. And it's like, okay, so now why would I want to watch it? Right? So why would I want to watch this movie and you to put the whole movie in the trailer? I got the twist, I got everything, but you do not get everything when it comes to the trailer for Abigail. I thought it was going to jump right into it. I thought it was going to, skip to the end, and maybe I'll put like a little timer in here if you don't want to have any spoilers. Or okay, yeah. So skip to the end if you don't want to have any spoilers, and then I'm gonna reveal my rating at the end. And so for the plot, I thought it was gonna jump right into it. This little girl is gonna turn to a vampire and start, effing everybody up. But it actually didn't. It did like a little background and stuff like that. Like, they was really setting it up like a story. So I really like that. So I gave the plot an A minus because of that. And so the reason why I went down a little bit is because, I don't know, it's like the ending when the plot twist comes in. It's like, is this the way I thought you were gonna look? But I was like, okay, because it's like her dad, the head vampire, comes in at the end, and so they reveal him, and he looks like Nosferatu.
If that was you on the phone and you on the bus, then who was flickering the lights? Nosferatu!
I'm like, who is this? And it's like, you got this cute little girl, and then you got Nosferatu here. And I guess I was expecting Nosferatu to look, I don't know, kind of handsome, not looking like he'd been living in a cave. I mean, I know he's supposed to come off a little bit scary, but I don't know. He was giving like a whole different vibe than what the whole movie was giving the whole time. Because, and I'll get into that, it was given very much like a campy type of film. Very much, it's like it was moving in between horror and then like scary movie. So like it was like, and so I was like, I don't know how I felt about that, for switching back and forth between a little light comedy and like gore and horror. I feel like they should have just picked one for it to like really level up. And so that's why I ended up giving the plot an A minus. Okay, so when we go into acting, and I gotta let me pull up the actors, right? And so for the acting, I gave acting a C. I gave acting a C, right? But I gave Abigail gets an A. And I'm gonna get into Abigail, but let me go through these people. So we got Joey, which is Melissa, the actress Melissa, and it's gonna be pops up. And so she was all right, and so she's supposed to have like this whole heroine backstory. I'm trying to get back to my kid. And I was like, oh, okay. Frank was okay. Frank, I don't know if they was trying to like go in between who's evil and who's not evil, because they're supposed to be like assassins, and that was very weird to me, with just like the direction that the director was going of, like, okay, if these supposed to be people who they're professionals at their jobs, ain't nothing they was doing in there professional actually the most professional person died in the beginning. So I thought that was an interesting take on it of like, again, going to that campy silliness, and but this is supposed to be like a professional kidnapping. Sammy, she did really well. Catherine Newton, I usually like stuff that she's in. Um, Rickles was very serious. He seemed very much, an army boy. Um, Lambert also gave like No Nosferatu, like this is like a fantasy dark horror. We're supposed to be, creepy, and it's like this whole thing, and it's like, but that's not what the movie been given the whole time. So it's like the other vampires is like, I don't know, it seemed like they was in a different time period, which I mean makes sense because they're from a long time ago, but it's also like you kind of adapt a little bit. Um and so it was like, you need to give a little bit something else. Um Dean, rest in peace. Dean, I felt like they wanted him to be the comedic relief, but he wasn't for me. Um, he was doing like his part well of like who he was supposed to be and things of that nature. Just, not too serious. She was talking about how he's not professional. He wasn't professional, but I felt like they wanted him to be the comedic relief, but he was not. Who else do we have here? Oh, Peter, Kevin. Kevin did a good job. I really liked his character. He added a lot to like the comedic relief actually. So I really liked him. And then let's talk about Abigail. Alicia Ware, she killed that role. I have to give her an A. I want to give her S tier. She was crazy. I mean, her acting was like spot on. Like she was the reason like I was so locked in this movie. Like, I mean, from the scary parts to the dancing around like a ballerina and switching in between, oh, I'm just a cutesy little girl, to not about to ravish you. She did such a good job. Like she was the best part of the movie, and to me she felt like and that may be like my twisted side, but she was more like the comedic relief. Everything that she was doing was like spot on of like switching in between, I'm going to play around with you, but then I'm going to kill you. So I thought that was really, really good. Oh, and then there was this part in the movie, and they're trying to find a way out of the house. The house is all locked up, and I'm like, there's a skylight here. Me personally, I'm not going into the dark hallways where the vampire can come and get me. If I'm already in a room that's well lit, and I have hours before it gets dark again, all I'm gonna do is start to stack stuff up to get up to that skylight, and I'm gonna break the window and I'm gonna escape that way. But they didn't think of that, so that's funny. So yeah, actor gets a C, but Abigail gets an A. Scareability, I gave it a C because again, it was switching in between comedy to horror. And so that's why I gave scareability a C. It was just the parts with like, I mean, any type of like killer kid is really scary to me. But because it kept switching back and forth, I mean, it's really watchable. I mean, could have even been PG-13, but it had a lot of gore in it, and so they had to like, pull it back. Visuals was great. You could tell they spent money on this. The only thing that I would have to say visually, it was probably like the way like the vampires would die. And so they chose to go like when the light shines on you, basically, what's that movie? Hide and seek? I think it's hide and seek. I don't have to put it up there. But hide and seek were like when it came to morning, they all just started bursting open. So that's what they started to do with the vampires. Like when the light shines on them, it just bursts open. So I don't know. I really like the idea of like when the light shines on it, like they start to burn and they like turn into fire. But that's like a personal preference. But visually they did pretty good. They did pretty good with like the gory parts and stuff like that. But I definitely think it could have leaned into PG-13, but I understand why it got into the radar section. So visually I gave it a B. And then comedy, I gave it a C. Abigail was funny. What's his name? Kip was funny. There's the parts with like Catherine, Sammy, that was funny too. And so their little banter here, like a little banter here and there, would be funny, but then it'd be like, okay, again, is this Scary Movie 8 or is this, a horror movie? So my final rating after all of that, I gave this final grade for Abigail a B minus. And I think I was leaning more to a B minus because, again, I really liked that it was an original idea. And please don't go search it up and be like, well, actually, back in 1980, there was actually a movie like this. Well, that's far enough back that I'm not like, okay, you doing too much, right? Because nowadays they just remaking everything, and it's not even enough for like the generations not to be too aware about it, to where it's like, okay, well, why am I seeing this again? So I think a B minus is where it's gonna go on my tier list. So yeah, I really liked the little girl. She did such a great job. I would love to see her in more stuff because she killed it, and I think that's why my ratings is so high, is because of how well she played that part. So yeah, so this is my movie review on Abigail. Tell me what you think in the comments after you've watched it. And if I didn't reveal the really big plot twist at the end, so you could decide if you like the plot twist or not. But yeah. Oh, I'm hoping to do, well, I'm probably gonna do a movie review on something else, but what I'm really looking forward to is See No Evil. I believe it's called See No Evil. I'm gonna put it up. See No Evil looks so scary, and let me look it up real quick. I guess it's not See No Evil, because there's an old movie called See No Evil that is really super good with Kane from WWE. Speak No Evil. Okay, excuse me. This was Speak No Evil, but See No Evil back in the day was really good. But Speak No Evil, I think it's coming out in September. Yeah, September 13th. That trailer is scary, and I'm so ready for this because I know it's gonna be so good. And what's his name? James McAvoy. Like when he did Split and those movies, he is such a great actor. And he looks so scary in this movie. He looks so scary, and so I know he's gonna do a good job. And then he beefed up. He be getting beefed up. So I just know that he's about to scare the crap out of me. He does such a good villain. And so yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to next. Yeah, leave in the comments below what you thought of this review, what you thought of the movie. What rating would you give the movie down below? And do you agree with my text on it? And I'll see you next time.